Just borderlines you got to kind of watch out for. This stuff's a little bit rusted because I've had it sitting for a long time. That's okay because this stuff's going to naturally age in patina as it goes along, or I can actually quicken the aging time along. If you want to join me, ask questions or see what I'm doing basically, put it right there on the little chatty thing. But we're going to try this and see how it works out. Hopefully I can make it really nice for you. I'll show you a finished product next time that I built a long time ago. And I've sold a few of these already. So they work out. People really like them. They're not what you would find in Lowe's or Menards or somewhere like that that sells these type of things for decoration. This is all handmade from this piece of metal, and it will turn into something similar to this when it's done. Has to shear it all down to width and length, and he's got to do a lot of processing before you even get hold of it. And it's not really cheap. But this stuff is handmade, and you're not going to get better quality than handmade. This stuff will last for hundreds and hundreds of years. We know this because we found stuff from before the Civil War and before that is still intact in really good shape. Of course, it's rusted and it's old, but that's the way it is. And you're going to have it, but it's been around hundreds and hundreds of years. So if it's taken care of, it'll last forever. So let's get started. First, I think I'm going to try to figure out my sheet width. My paper says I need 13 and a 16th total, and I'm at 14. So I need to take off some off the ends of it. Let me see if I can get this thing moved around a little bit. See if I can get it moved around so y'all can see it a little bit better. Might be a little bit better this way. So I need roughly an inch and a 16th taken off of this. So I'll take 17/32 out of this, out of both ends of it. It doesn't seem like enough already, but we don't, well, and then it needs to be 10 inches, 9 and, okay, so yeah, that's probably have to be, I think. Let me look at that real quick. I don't like the measurement of that already. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm right. 13 and a 16, so I need to be 17/32 on each end to take off of it. There we go. And the reason I'm taking 17/32 off each end because I'm dealing with this border, and I want it to look even across when it's rolling around and make the tube out of it for the body. So what I'll do is I'll do that again on the other side of this. On the other side of it. 17/30. And that should be 13 and a 16. No, that's not. Oh, no, 14. Nope, no. My math is not mathing. Oh, yeah, all right. 16, 15/36. So I told you I'm not organized when my math is off. This is weighing measure twice and cut once so that we can not ruin our piece when we are getting ready to cut. And I like to, before I go to my shear, I like to give my little marks a little bit of a notch so I can hook it on my bottom blade. I can get an exact cut without having to sit there and try to squint gauge, which means eyeball it to the cut line. And all this is doing is just really making sure I get a really good straight cut. And it's just a little tiny cut there because the metal will fold just a little bit. Flipping around with me. Let me clean off my rarely used shear here just for a second. And then what I do is I hook that to the bottom blade of my shear, because you know you got the little notches. You kind of hook that. Keep your fingers back off of that blade. Cut it real gently, nice and smooth cut. Same thing on the other end. Sometimes, once again, fingers back. I need to put my finger guard / hold downs back on that, but it was getting in my way on one of my last projects. Miss you saying hi here. How you doing, Jonathan Bridges? What am I fixing? I'm actually making a barn lantern. It's a little project, a reproduction of a 1700s lantern that they used to carry around between their house and their barn when they had to go to the outhouse or the barn. Excuse me, I didn't even get your face that hard. Get a drink of tea. The holes in these are punched. If you can see, this side is proud. These holes are punched all the way through, and they allow light through it. But they don't allow the air to go through the other direction. So if you see these in an old antique store, you'll feel the holes on the outside, and you'll think, well, that's weird. Well, what that is the air or the light can come out of the smooth side from the candle that's inside, and the light goes through this way, and it shines through the holes. But what also does is these holes protruding, it allows it keeps the wind from going through to blow out your candles, and it keeps bugs and stuff out of there a lot better, because a bug will go through the smooth side, little bugs and gnats and stuff, but they don't tend to like to go through the proud side, the sharp side. It feels sharp, but it's not really sharp. I mean, I'm really kind of putting a little pressure on it. It's not really sharp at all. But that's kind of what they are. They're more so people can go to the barn when they were doing stuff, or the outhouse to do other things. Al Garcia 4152. Hi, how are you doing? Oops, bumped my camera. Okay, I'll continue on with the other dimension. I'm at 13 and a 16th here. I'll double check it just for fun. Yep, I'm 13 and a 16th. Now I need to be 10 inches. Well, my finished thing is already 10 inches, so I don't have to mess with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark little notches out of the corners, and that allows the metal to be bent in its different shapes here in a little bit without it getting in the way of itself. So if I'm laying it like this, I need to come up, and I have these little scratchers like this. See? What they are is they're little gauges, and like this one here is an 1/8 of an inch. That one's like 3/16. That one's 1.5 inches. That's like a 1/2 inch. That's 1 inch, and that's 3/4 of an inch. You know, different ones for different measurements. These are very handy. Then you don't have to sit and use your tape measure. There's another one. I make these out of light gauge stainless steel in my main shop at work. What I'm looking for here is a notch that's that's 3/16 up and a 1/4 inch in. So I'm going to look for my 3/16 one, which is that one. And then I give it a little fine scratch. Don't need much on all 4 corners. I don't know if you're seeing this or not. There we go. We'll go like that. Go like that here. And then I'll look for my 1/4 inch scratch, which should be on, and right there, 1/4 inch. I'll take the opposite one. I'll go in the lengthwise. Like I said, these do not need to be deep or hard, just enough so you can see them. And now that I've got all 4 of them done, I'll take my snips. Just your simple A's, your aviation snips. I use offsets all day long at work, so that's what I'm using here. Make a nice little square notch in here. And right on my line. And then don't snip it too hard right in the end, because it'll leave it leaves a little doink right there in the corner, so you want to be careful snipping. You don't want to go too far, because you'll be unhappy with the results later. Just go to your line and to your corner, and do that on all 4 corners. This could be a long drawn out video. Hopefully you don't get too bored with me. I've got a little music in the background on from my tablet, because I hate working in the quiet. This really bugs me. Okay, so this one's notched and it's really kind of ready to go. I'm ready to actually start folding the corners and edges and turning this thing into tube. So it doesn't take that long, really. It takes as long as you want to take it, because this is your project and we don't care about time. We just want to do something that's nice looking. You want to be careful about putting dents in this, because you just want to see all this, see the nice shiny. You don't want to see a big old ding right there in the flat spot. This one should be ready to, I'm going to take the 1/4 inch side, which is this one here, and I'm going to fold it in to a hem, and basically a hem is just what it sounds like. The hem is, the metal is straight, and then on the bottom, the top, it just folds in on itself like this. And that's what I'm going to do on each edge of that. And I'll probably, I don't have I do have it. I've got a stake right here. Got a stake right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, my stakes all be cleaned up too. I'll take my wooden mallet, simply because I don't want a bunch of steel marks for my hammer on it. I'm going to put it right on the edge of the notch. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a hit, kind of get it started. And this is where the cussing or the skill comes in. We're trying to make this basically as pretty as you can, so that it looks nice when it's done. You want to hit it gently over. You don't want to take too much all at once, or once again you'll leave little marks and stuff in there that you don't necessarily want to see. Sometimes you're going to get them anyway, but I've got that folded over to about a 90 right now. So I'm going to lay that down along the back side of my thing, and I'm going to start going all the way over with it. And that's going to be about 1/4 of an inch in. And what that's going to do is when I roll that around, that will accept the front of the door frame later. I'll make that door frame. Okay, see now I've got it under like that, so I'll work the other side. And I like to do a small hit on one end, small hit on the other end. That kind of lets me lay it on there where I want it. Some of the old timers are going to say, clean up your steak, clean up your steak. No, I have not made it to that far yet for a long time. I got these steaks, and they were already kind of in this shape. So they haven't gotten worse, but they've been used in the sheet metal industry for, I bet you, 50 or 75 years. Before I ever got a hold of them. So I'm just rolling with them. For right now, this is perfectly fine for what I'm doing. Plus them little marks you see, little dings and little marks, that proves that this is handmade. So proves that it's handmade. We got that pretty well over to its base like that. So what I'll do is I'll lay my steak down, and that's a nice flat surface. So stick it right on the edge of it, and I'll start easily working that over the full hem. I would really like to have a better facility. See, it doesn't take much. This is very thin material. And you want to be careful while you're handling it, of course. So now I've got it all the way over for the most part. I don't think I can find a flat piece of metal to stick in there, and then I would just flatten it all the way out. If you're very careful with it, you don't necessarily need to worry about your little punches getting flattened out, because you're not going to hit it that hard. Plus you're on a wooden mallet. The trick is to hold your hammer as flat as humanly possible, and that'll keep a lot of the stuff down. So now I'm hemmed all the way over. So I'll put my steak away for right now. Thanks for watching, whoever's watching. I do appreciate it. We'll go back over here to my machine. Like I said, I haven't used this for a while, so it really kind of needs to be cleaned up. I'm going to stick this in the machine just a little bit. And this part is called the slip roll. I actually got this one Hobo Freight. That's really nice and slip roll. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it in there. This is really just more for speed. As a matter of fact, I could, before I go too far, I actually could. Let me show you. Let me show you what moving it around by hand with what this thing does. It's actually probably a little faster with something like this. Especially for this kind of stuff. What I like to do is I'll even can actually take it on my hammer here, but I've got a piece of pipe that I even got an old trailer hitch. It's really nice for dolly, but it really works good. I shove it down here in my table, and then I can make like hammer some round stuff in it. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll just easily form it over the pipe and make it about half round, a little bit more. See, this stuff is super clean, so it's easy to work with. You lay it down on this table and give it a little press as you're rolling it. Some people are saying how archaic this is to do it, but it works good. The goal is to make it as fully round as possible. Get on the ends. I just hold this down on the table. I could clamp it down on the table. Why? I need to. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfectly round. So now see, I've got it in a nice half round circle. About, then you can pull a lot of this like that. Such as this. And if it looks a little wonky, just give it a little bit of tweak. This is super light. This is like just a little heavier than tin foil. This is 28 gauge or 30 gauge tin plate. So it's really light. You'll be surprised how really light these things are when they're done, and how long they last. It's amazing that this little thin stuff can last hundreds and hundreds of years. It's one of the good things about tin is if you don't scratch that tin off of that base metal, which is just basically just sheet metal, it's a really thin piece of sheet metal, and then they coat it with tin, really, really light coating of tin. Well, if you don't scratch that tin, see, that looks nice. It won't rust, or it'll take a long time for it to rust. Now I've got the body pretty well done, and as you can see, you grab one that I started. I gave up on just because I wanted to. This is kind of what it's going to turn out like. See that? Then I got this is why I only went so far around. I didn't go touch because this is where door openings begin. And out of some of the scrap, I will make this door opening right here. And that'll go across there into that ham I made right there. Or I'll just maybe even just overlap that and solder it. Which I might do anyway. But now the bottom I didn't have any clean flat material, so I used my other flat tin that's a kind of a matte finish rather than a shiny. It wasn't the way I bought it, but I'm going to use it because it's so expensive. And in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. But it won't be a pristine. But that's kind of what I'm shooting for right now. And I could, let me do this one here, since I told you I'd make it all by hand. I've got some doors I think I've already made. Yeah, I've got a door that's already cut out of the same material. And it's a little rusty for this stuff, so I want to kind of match. So basically I'm going to cut this door out of the middle of here, like that, and save that design. I'll save that star design here, because that'll look good on the door or on the front. This one's just a little rusty, so I want to match my other ones I made that's a little rusty too. Well, continue the whole thing to make it all match. But that's what I'm going to do here, I think. Hope you recognize the band that's playing in the background. It's one of my favorite bands ever. Okay. door, he needs 7. From 932 to 9 and 7 eighths. 9 and 7 eighths tall. I have a really nice bench square around here, bench ruler somewhere around here. But I have taken it, no, I don't know where I've taken it. Yeah, anybody wants to join in on this conversation, come on in. I'll be glad to say hi to you and tell you what's going on as I go. I'm trying to do that now, so let me move this a little bit so I can show you my shop is a mess, if you can tell. One of these days I'll actually come down and clean it out. Looks like it's really good here. So I got a nice flat surface. And we're at 10 inches. So 7 and 9, 32. I wish I had my calculator. I don't have my calculator. 7. 10. 7. That's 932. 932 is 2, 6, 7, 5. I think I've got it. Oh, here, look at that. I don't remember. So, well, there is no 932. Just over a quarter is 10. 10 minus 7 and a quarter is 2 and 11 is 7. One's making it a little bit bigger. One is 7. Having a little math issue in my brain today. I'm having a fun time doing my math in my head. 932 is a quarter. 2. There we go. Oh. One is the 1 and 160. Do that this side. I feel kind of stupid. Should be easy math for somebody my age. But sometimes you just have a brain fart. And then you feel silly. I've always told people that if you're going to be stupid, you might as well be tough. I'm a tough son. Oh, that's what I like. Once again, make my little doohickeys on each side so I can shear them. Don't worry about the extra marks that I just made. They will come off. I can tell you that. I've done many mistakes. So we're going to take this. Handy dandy cutter. Be careful, fingers again. A little bit of slip. Pretty. Pretty. Now let's see if I screw this up. That was perfect. Something. Oh, that might be. Good thing about this is junk material you can put it on. Just like that. For whatever reason, I made a big mistake. I told you I was dumb. Might as well be tough, huh? Let's do this easy. We're going to go 5 over 7 1/4. 2, 3 1/2, 8. 3 1/2. 8, 7, and 9. 3D2. Right? No, 132. That one is correct. Correcto mundo finally. Be careful. Be careful. See here. Where are we measuring to? We are 932. That one looks more right. That one looks right. That one looks more better. That looks like we ran up with it. I knew right when I cut it that something was wrong. I was too stubborn to get up on it and start all over. I used to smoke something, so yeah, with a pen in my mouth. Very bad at it. Never started smoking, don't start. Like giving up crap. Maybe. Maybe. There, now it's good. Bet you measure it now. And if it don't, we'll always wish it. 7 and 9:32. A 9 and 7. I'm doing my math again this time properly. There we go. There's the math. Once again, doing a little snippy snip. Little snippy snip. Little snippy snip. a snippy snip. Back to the Hootawaka. When you're done using that, you should lower the shear blade so that you don't walk up upon it, grab the handle and do something silly, like stick your finger in under something. Sometimes they're a little loose. Mine, on the other hand, is not a little loose. Okay. Now, did that. There we go. You need to be 3/16 in and 3/16 out in the corner. All these little doinkies right there, I'm going to tap out of there in a minute. Because we don't need them. And we're using pre-punched material. And we're making it look nice when it's done. See what time it is. It is 5:30 p.m. Iowa time. I'll get off here pretty quick. Give you all a break. Because you're probably already bored out of your wits with me. And then tomorrow we'll work on some more of this thing. And hopefully we'll get to a point where we can see some real shape out of this. I started this one a little later. We go a lot. Like I said, this is my very first live on YouTube. Seeing how this thing goes. If you subscribe and follow, hit your little buttons down below or on the side or wherever they're at on your phone or your computer. I'd appreciate it to help me keep doing this stuff. No, I'm not getting paid yet. I hope to get paid someday. But it might not happen. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, I've got my 4 corners notched on the door. 3/16 in and 3/16 out. Now I'm going to make little hinge spots on this door. But before I do that, I'm going to get rid of some of these little tappy doinks. And I have little tiny handles. And I mean a really tiny handle. Look at that thing. It's only like about 1/2 inch round. I like it only because I don't hit where I don't want to hit. And I can do that with that little thing. I like doing that. The tool of my trade, sheet metal. This is a little 12-ounce baby hammer. This will move some material. And I'm trying to get those little nubs as flat as possible. Once again, the trick is to hold this thing flat. And you don't get little edge marks on your hammer or on your material. I don't need these here, and I'll kind of get in my way. And when we're done, this is another way you'll notice if you was to buy this at a craft store or somewhere like that, you would see that this particular lantern will be handmade. Very little machinery. And as a matter of fact, these guys here, these holes, they were probably made on a stamp from some factory somewhere. If I do them by hand, you will see definite differences in distances between the holes, how straight that line is. A person would do it as perfect as they can get it, but when this is done 100% by hand, you will see differences. And that just proves the worth of this piece. If somebody took enough care to work this thing by hand like the old people did back in the day. They didn't even have a nice little hammer like this. If they did, they made it. They didn't go to a supply store and buy it. They made this thing out of a forge, and a forge was metal, just iron. They forged it and they hardened it and made a hammer out of it in the shape that they wanted it. We have the luxury of buying such tools and nice things. Okay, once again, this one here, now along this edge, and this edge, and this edge, and this edge, we'll have what's called a wire edge, which is basically that same hem I did before, except we'll put a piece of wire in behind it. And that'll stiffen this door up, especially when we throw it in the roller on that pipe and we make it it'll roll around about that far. But this will have a strengthening stiffener in it, which is just a rod or a wire. Anybody that has worked with metal very much is probably already bored out of their wits with me already. But this is more for people who have never seen it done, except for old videos of those old guys that used to do this stuff. And then once again, they didn't have pre-punched material like this. This is one of these that if I do sell it, I'm not going to sell it for a bunch of money because it is pre-punched, and this was all done with a stamp. But this was stuff my dad had given me, and I plan on using it and making the best of stuff I can out of it. We can also just turn these into about anything you want. We can turn them into jewelry boxes. We can do anything we want with this. And entirely that might be exactly what I do with it. Some of this other stuff that I have. I've got a whole box of it. I bet I got 100 sheets of it right now. And my dad was kind enough before he passed away to give me a whole box of this stuff. Because he used to buy it so he could refinish, sorry about the finger, so he could refinish antiques, old pie safes. And this was some of the stuff that they would have used and did use back in the day, except they would have punched it out with a nail or an awl or something like that. Well, we're not going to do that. Okay, this one I'll get on my stake again, since I both know what to use. Very few machines. Once again, I have a machine to do such things. Nice little bead roller. I can do wire edges and different stuff like that. The front wire edge machine on there, but I'm not doing it. I'm going to do this by hand. I do feel like I have more control. And I'll give it a good start again like I did before. This time around I stretched line all the way down the length of it so I can see where it is bending and the length of it. So I went down about 90 degrees, a little more than 90. I'll walk over the whole thing, all four sides of it, doing the same thing. With my wooden mallet. This steel is just overkill on something like this right at the moment. I've got a nice little wooden mallet right here. It works really good. Some of them old fellers back in the 1718s and even now in the 80s and 90s, some of them old guys travel around and do this. They would use a flat stick, like an inch and a half square stick. And it was a slapper, we called it a slapper. And instead of the mallet, they would use that slapper. And that kept the marks, the hammer marks down. Plus, it moved a lot of material faster than, because them old traveling tinsmiths, they would go to them different towns and villages, and their time was their money. They would repair tinware and stuff like that, or make stuff like buckets and plates and cups and stuff like that. There, so I've got all four of them turned around now. Before I put the wire in it, I've got to track down some wire. I have some wire, I just need to track it down. I got some over here. I won't bore you with the details on this. This wire, see, it's all white coated. This is just electrical wire from Romax. I had a bunch of spare Romax. I got a coil or two of it hanging there. I just peel the plastic coating off there, and then I put that wire right inside that edge, and then I fold that edge of material over and I hide that wire, and I go all the way around with it, and that stiffens this door up. But I will bore you with that. I won't bore you with the details of uncoating the wire, and I'll show you on a new video at another time. Like and subscribe, hit your buttons, let me know what you think. If you'd like me to make something else other than a barn lantern, I would be sure glad to. I can do pretty much anything you want. It's within simple reason of a small downstairs basement operation such as I have. So give me likes and subscribes, and I'll come back in tomorrow. Figure I'd do about an hour with you today. It's 58 minutes now. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comment section and let me see what you think. If you like what I'm doing, keep watching, and I will be here tomorrow for a while. Thanks for watching. Bye. Trying to figure out how to shut this thing off. My first time live. How do I end it? How do I end it? X. There we go. Yep, we'll see how. End.